Hi everyone, this is Miss Jerry and Miss Mary Beth. This time we're coming to you from the Daily Mass Chapel at St. Patrick's. And today our presentation is actually for our older children. When you were younger, you saw all of these cards that I'm going to show you today. You saw them one at a time. And today we're going to kind of put it all together and see if you can do a lot of really deep thinking about what these messages are telling us and what they told the people back long time ago, like 2,000 years ago, before Jesus was born. These messages on these cards are from Scripture. That means they come from the Bible, and they were given to the people at the time before Jesus was born. A prophet's job was to listen really hard to what God was telling them. And then they would take that message from God to the people. And there were a lot of messages of hope, and you're going to notice a lot of hope in these prayer cards that we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to read each one and kind of give you a hint as to what the prophet was telling the people. And then we'll let you do a little bit more thinking about them, or you may want to do your own drawing of them, what you think this message might mean. So the very first one we saw is this one, and this comes from the prophet Isaiah. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Right? The people who walked in darkness, perhaps they're speaking about the people of Israel. It was very tough times for them at that time. Wars going on, a lot of fighting. And this message is to give them some hope that the great light is coming. And we know that that light is Jesus. Our second prophecy card comes from the prophet, another one from the prophet Isaiah. And let's listen to this and then we'll talk about it for a few seconds. For a child has been born for us, a son given to us. Authority rests upon his shoulders. And he is named Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. So Isaiah is telling the people many different names for Jesus. He doesn't know that Jesus is going to be named Jesus. So he's calling him all these beautiful names: a Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Something that you want to think a little bit more about, and maybe some other names that you've heard Jesus called before he was born. Our next prophecy card also comes from Isaiah. Isaiah must have been very busy at the time. This one says, "Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child, and shall bear a son, and shall name him Emmanuel." Well, we hear that there is going to be a sign for the people of Israel. A young woman. Who might that young woman be? Perhaps it's Jesus' mother, Mary. We do know from our talks before, Mary was very young. She was only about 13 years old. All right, so maybe that's her that he's speaking of. And we also hear that she's going to call him Emmanuel. Emmanuel. Do you guys remember that Emmanuel means God is with us? All right, some more things to think about. Our next prophecy card that we did with you is from the prophet Micah. And this is what it says. But you, O Bethlehem of Ephrathah, who are one of the little clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to rule Israel. Well, we do know that the prophet Micah is speaking of Jesus, his coming. But where is this going to happen? There's a hint in this. I bet you found it. Bethlehem. This newborn King of the Jews will come from the little town of Bethlehem. Perhaps you want to draw about this. Okay, or just think more about these words. All these words are in the Bible. You can look them up. And our last prophecy card comes from the book of Numbers. All of these are in the Old Testament. So when you're looking at the Bible, all right, the beginning of the Bible is the Old Testament. And then after Jesus was born, it becomes the New Testament, right? So you're going to be looking for all of these in the Old Testament. And this is what the book of Numbers has to say. A star shall advance from Jacob, and a staff shall rise from Israel. And on this card, I don't know if you can see it or not, we have a star and a staff. And who do we know those are symbols for? That's right, Jesus. All right, the light of the world and the shepherd's staff, the good shepherd. He's on his way. And we want to have you guys think about these prophecy cards a little bit more during our Advent and Christmas season. And we want you to we want to wish you and hope you and your families had a beautiful Merry Christmas. I want to show you something special with our prophecy cards, at least 4 of them. I'm going to show you the symbol when we lay them down flat on the floor. And look at what happens. We get the star. Isn't that beautiful? All right, boys and girls, thank you for being here today, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.